Hello and welcome to the video. Once again, my name is Wade Daniel Smith, and this video is about two of the most useless stances I've ever seen or attempted to use in martial arts, which are in fact the Isshinryu Seiunchin stance and the Shotokan front stance, and the Shotokan back stance, which are basically about equally useless. Um, No, almost nobody fights in any of those stances in mixed martial arts because they're impractical. They're too deep. Your kicks are so slow coming out of those stances that you're telegraphing your movements, and even your punches. You're too far away from your opponent because of the way your leg structure is designed in those stances. So, to give you an idea of someone who fights out of a front stance, Lyoto Machida fought out of a front stance and somehow made it work. But his brother Chinzo Machida did not use a front stance. He used a Seisan or guard stance. And his brother mostly throws front straight kicks of snap kick and thrust kick types. And his brother won the Brazil National Karate Championship 12 years in a row. So, just because there's like one exception in the world that can fight out of a front stance effectively doesn't exclude the value of my argument that you'd be better off in a Seisan or guard stance than in any kind of Seiunchin or front stance. I did briefly try to take a Shotokan class, and it's just like the instructor didn't understand that, you know, when I was 20 years old and I was taking Isshinryu, I was circuit training 20 hours a week altogether. And even then, I never used a Seiunchin stance or a front stance or a reverse stance or anything like that, back stance, whatever you want to call it, in a real sparring match or a real fight ever. There was never a reason to use it. And because it's actually a lot harder for your body to hold that stance indefinitely, but more importantly, there's never a reason to use it anyway. If you know Seisan stance and Naihanchi stance and your cat stance and cross stance, you will probably never need another stance in your life because those four stances cover any scenario you could possibly imagine. And you know, just because they got somebody that's superhuman and they can somehow get their legs up, you know, a foot and a half higher than the average martial artist, doesn't mean that it's worth it to kick to the head either. Just because you got a knockout one time doesn't mean you should try it again, even. Because I knew a Muay Thai or talked to a Muay Thai champion one time who had 30, I think he had 31 knockouts altogether. And he said only one of his knockouts came from a head kick. All his other knockouts came from punches and elbows. So he agreed with me when I was saying you should never kick to the head, even if you think you can hit the opponent in the head. Because if you miss the head kick, they're gonna recover and catch your leg and start beating on you. So, you know, there's also saying never say never, but this time never is about the closest thing to the truth as we're ever going to know. It's just never throw a head kick and then you don't have to worry about falling on your ass and getting tackled by a grappler or a brawler in a street fight. So that's the way that works. If you throw a head kick in a street self-defense situation and for whatever reason you miss the opponent and fall on your butt, that's probably going to be the end of the fight because you're going to get clubbed in the face with a stick or a pipe or stabbed with a knife or whatever in a real street fight or hit with a beer bottle. So there's no reason to have these stances that are that deep. There's no practical value in them whatsoever. I don't care what anybody tries to claim that, oh, you're standing on uneven terrain. I'd rather be standing in a Seisan stance on uneven terrain than to be standing in a Seiunchin stance or front stance for certain. Because to me, the deeper stances actually make uneven terrain even worse and harder to stand on. Because I've tried that before too. It doesn't even look good in martial arts movies when they do it. It looks stupid. It's like you can't fight from that position effectively. All right. Thank you very much.